If you're tired of the same old news,
What more do you want? I want the truth. You're hearing it. Strap yourselves in, folks.
never fear.
What's the dealio?
Part of life is learning to let things go.
We've got news moms can use.
What was that name again? I missed that.
News moms can use.
Brought to you by Therapon Skin Health, helping moms have healthy, youthful-looking skin for 20 years.
In the news this week, we have got the latest stories, and we do pick them here on the Channel Mom Show based on what we think moms want or need to hear. As we're fond of saying, a lot of other outlets don't necessarily choose their news stories based on what they think mothers would like to hear. They would love to sell you their laundry detergent in between in the commercials, but they don't necessarily care what is on the news except for maybe in the kicker. That's what we used to call it. It's sort of the end, happy, good, feel-good story.
The end, not the first.
Oh, no. Yes, that's why we do it better here on the Channel Mom Show. First, though, a heart-wrenching story out of Texas today. 2 children were found living in an abandoned school bus near Houston. The bus was said to be stench-filled, with its windows blocked and the lot around it covered in trash. A postal worker reportedly discovered the children, ages 11 and 5, residing in the bus in a small town called Splendora, kind of ironic, outside of Houston, about 35 miles outside of Houston. The children are now in the custody of Texas child welfare workers. They were not enrolled at local schools and told officials that they were being homeschooled. Meanwhile, their parents are believed to be in prison for embezzling money from Hurricane Ike victims in 2008. The bus appeared to have electricity, an air conditioning unit installed in one window, and bunk beds inside for the children. But several neighbors reported that the children typically looked unkempt and could often be spotted running around at night. Okay, here's my question. Why did people wait around till the postal worker reported it?
What were the neighbors doing?
I was like, hi, kids! At 11 o'clock.
There's kids again.
Hello? Okay, according to a report from KTRK TV, the children have been living in the bus since the beginning of the year. This is my point. Who
Since the beginning of January?
I couldn't quite tell them at the beginning of the school year or January, but still, even if you let it go by for 2 months, that seems a bit odd that you would wait that long to try to help these kids.
Normally, when I see neighborhood cats, I get suspicious. When there's children running around, I think I would have said something.
What have you done?
With cats?
No, with the kids, Josh.
Oh, I was confused. I was on the cat subject still. I would have called someone. You call the police. I think the police are probably the easiest people to call in that situation.
Well, and I have to give one woman credit. She did go bring them food on occasion, she said. But you'd think if she was bringing...
Is that enough?
Well, obviously not. But at least as it was on her radar.
Here's a pie. I hope that you
feel better.
You have a shower and shampoo.
And they said that they didn't look to be showering often. They had dirty clothes on all the time. Here's a little kicker to that story, though. I should note that a woman on the property, believed to be the children's great aunt, told authorities that she worked 12-hour shifts Monday through Friday, but that she stayed with the children at night. Although the aunt claimed she provided meals for the children, one witness said that they had not seen a lot of food readily available, and that's when that neighbor said that she would take food over to them. Okay, so anyway, just what do you think of that story? This is why we need to support moms, because obviously children are being failed in some arenas.
The aunt needs the support, obviously, too. And maybe that's why the neighbors didn't say anything. They're like, well, the aunt's got it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but if you're seeing a bus and trash all around, you would think you'd begin to question that. In other news, it's an issue that sparks outrage on both sides. This week, some are calling it a victory for the preservation of religious liberty coming from courts in New York and Washington State this week. The Lions Defense Fund announced its major victory in New York City just last Friday when a federal judge said the Big Apple was to allow churches to continue holding worship services in public schools for the time being. The city had evicted churches from public school buildings in February.
It doesn't make sense.
Here we go again. This was my thing last week with the atheist billboards. I just don't understand people who, I just don't get it. But the judge said that churches are likely to prevail in court based on the First Amendment's promise of religious freedom. The churches, which serve primarily low-income and ethnic congregations, let's just boot them out. Let's not let them have a chance to worship God. Which serve primarily to continue, they should be allowed to continue renting empty school buildings. That's what the judge said.
Well, the keyword renting there?
Yeah, from the city, just like any other group. That's what he said. It's just like any other community group. And sometimes, this whole church and state thing, and as I said, it outrages people on both sides. But let's just be honest. The church and state thing was just as much to protect the church from the state as the state from the church.
Right.
And some people, times, they get that mixed up. But the judge thinks these churches are going to win and they're going to be able to continue to practice in the schools.
Well, I hope so. I think both sides win. The schools and the churches.
Yeah, we all know schools are in trouble with their budgets.
And it's a capital that's sitting there doing nothing on Sundays.
Right. And so if they're willing to pay for the property, I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Josh? Do you think we're off on this?
No, I think, it's a way for schools to generate some income, and I always love it when the courts hold up the First Amendment. I love me some First Amendment.
Okay, 2 other very quick things. Pink slime and beef. Everybody was talking about it this week.
I totally missed this story.
Yeah, 2 USDA whistleblowers who were no longer employed by the USDA said that 70%.
You can't be fired for. There's whistleblower protection law. So you can't be fired
and so
for
I
blowing
get the
the
feeling
whistle.
that maybe they were former USDA employees before they blew the whistle. Does
makes
that make sense? They
Yeah.
were fired before the fact, but maybe it's because they were making some
So they're
noise.
just jaded ex-employees.
Yeah, that could be too. But they do say 70% of all US beef has this concoction of extra parts in addition to ammonium chloride or ammonium
Hydroxide.
added to the beef.
I feel like a bad mother for not knowing this.
You're not a bad mother.
It made headlines because it was in McDonald's was using it.
Yeah,
more
well,
than anybody
also
else.
school lunches. School lunches. They say the cheapest stuff. That's my husband read a book called Fast Food Nation and also watched that movie Super Size Me and began to be very suspect of all beef in fast food restaurants. Now, of course, not all fast food restaurants are guilty of this, but also discovered that the school systems quite a bit. This is what they use in their meat. It's just so everybody knows out there. It's the ground beef that is stored in a tube that is prepackaged
And frozen.
Yes. If they're chopping it at their own store, it's usually safe. That's what in an interview I heard the other day about it. That's what they say.
Good to know. Okay.
Yeah, just so you know.